Good morning, brothers and sisters, followers of Yeshua just like me. Anyway, it's really irritating seeing this rapture all over the internet now, and these people are are planning for next week, September 23rd, for the rapture. And then we have fellas like this right here. You know, he says, well, the rapture can't happen until there is an antichrist in the temple, and we don't have the temple built. I want to try to speak to you guys about. Let's go to the scripture, Matthew chapter 24. Okay, I'm just going off on the whim here, and I want to show you just some things that are interesting in identifying. Um, let's go down to Matthew 24, where he talks about after the tribulation that the angels will come and gather his elect from the four winds. So let's go down there, Matthew 24, and here's this abomination of desolation, which this fella was referring to. Now, ironically, the abomination of desolation is already happening. It's the Christian faith. And Revelation 18:4 is telling them to take, come out of her, my people, if you don't want to share with her in her sins. But, here's the thing. The abomination of desolation, he tells you exactly what that is. False Christ. The abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, he elaborates on it, that the false Christ shall arise and false prophets. That's the abomination of desolation. All right, it's these Christians out there that took the gospel, turned it around into something that it's not, a pagan religion. All right, now let's go down to where he starts talking about the return of the Son of Man. Notice, immediately after the tribulation, right? That's the key word, after the tribulation. The tribulation, the great tribulation he's speaking of. The days shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and stars shall fall from heaven, the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the Son of Man in heaven, right? And then he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet and gather his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other. All right. So here we have, after the tribulation, this is the rapture, right? It's very interesting stuff. Now, let's go on here with this prophecy, the lesson from the fig tree, right? Now, everybody refers to Israel becoming a nation in 1948, when that could not be further from the truth. Israel, secular Israel over there, is a fake Israel. They are not authentic. I mean, look at the Temple Mount. They have a Muslim mosque on the top of it. The lesson from whenever you associate this with secular Israel and Zionism, like so many Christians do, I mean, it's just obvious that they're the Antichrist, preaching this false thing, because secular Jews, do they believe in Yeshua the Messiah? No. Who's the temple of God? We are. The Jews, the true Israel, the true Jews. But this lesson from the fig tree, notice what he's talking about up here, right? He's talking about his coming, immediately after the tribulation, but he's talking about the false Christ and false prophets. This generation of false Christ and false prophets would not pass away. Yeah? When the branch is yet tender, putting forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you see all these things, know that he is near, even at the doors. That is referring to the false Christs. The lesson of the fig tree, the false Christ, the Christians. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. A generation isn't a mere 30 years or 40 years or even 100 years. The generation he's talking about is the generation of false Christ. They will not pass. till all these things be fulfilled. And we see that the false Christs have started clear back when the Apostle John was alive, when the Apostle Paul was alive. That's the lesson from the fig tree. It's not the false Christ and the false prophets. Here you go. Right? These people that continue to predict the end and then not observe God's commands, that is exactly what the lesson from the fig tree is about. This generation of antichrist and false prophets that we've had clear from the Apostle John. They will not pass. That means they're not going to go away. They're not going to go away. They're going to be here till all these things be fulfilled. See? So that's what you have to keep in mind. This apostate Israel that does not even believe in Yeshua the Messiah, that don't even know, and these Christians that don't even know what the temple is, like this fella right here. They don't know that we are the temple. You see, we are the temple, and we are the ones that are getting the kingdom message out there. Okay? The Christians, they have a perverted view of the true faith because they just don't have the true faith. They're the Antichrist. Now, there will be many of God's people in this Christian establishment, but he's calling you out of it. Come out of her, my people. Revelation 18:4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. Remember, Jerusalem, as it is today, is the mother of all harlots. She is Babylon the Great. Christianity is just an offspring of her apostasy. All right? So that is what you need to come to terms with. That is what you need to understand, that if you are a part of this Christian faith, God is telling you, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that receive not part of her plagues. What is sin? What is sin? Think about that. You know what sin is? Not obeying God's commands. All right? Plain and simple. And that's what they're doing. They're not observing the Sabbath. They're not observing the dietary laws, everything that God told us in the Torah. All right? And so therefore, when we are looking for a true believer, right? When we're looking for a true believer, what are we going to do? When the angels come, right? Here's the other thing. When the angels come, let's look at that scripture once again. He shall send his angels. All right? So that means that his angels are going to be gathering together his elect. Now, what do the elect look like? This is going to be so easy for the angels to identify. All right? So let's take a look at this imagery right here. All right? This fella is wearing all cotton, all one material. Notice the beard on his face. All right? That's an identifying mark. How is that an identifying mark? Let me show you. Leviticus 19:27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall ye mar the corners of thy beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Jehovah, the Lord. Now, if you look at this guy, he's wearing his beard. He has not shaved his head, right? So right away, when the angels are coming to collect his elect, the shaving of the head, the shaving of the face. I mean, these are identifying marks. Now this guy has a beard, but now he shaved the sides of his head. It's going to be so very easy. Whenever you're going through these videos and seeing who to watch, you need to look for that stuff. These are identifying marks that you can see plainly. What's another thing that we see here about this fella? What are these things right down here? You see those? Here, let me hide the admin bar. What are those things right down there? What's he wearing? And what does that represent? Well, let me show you. Are you ready for this? Numbers 15:37. the law of tassels. And Jehovah spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes on the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribband of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Jehovah, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am Jehovah your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. To be your God, I am Jehovah your God. Now you know why true believers, true Israel, true Jews wear the ribband of blue. Okay? Now, it might be harder to see in these videos, but here's the thing. Their face gives them away. Their face gives them away. If they're shaving their head or shaving their face, right away, scroll. You're not going to find. I mean, now, at least this fella has a beard, but he shaves the sides of his head. And then you're like, well, what about the people that can't grow a beard? They can grow something, even if you have a little scruff. This is why you can tell the difference. And that's why the holy angels, whenever they come, those are the first things that they're going to be looking for. You see? You think the angels are going to come and search out the heart and everything like that all within an instant? Now they're going to look for the mark of God on the foreheads. You can't have the mark of God and not obey the commandments. You see? There's a mark. There's an invisible mark on everyone's forehead. It's either the mark of the beast or the mark of the true God. Okay? So just by those few things, the beard, the hair, and the tassels, you can recognize right away who's the true believer, who's not. You see? This is just really basic stuff. But whenever you're touring the YouTube and other video platforms and whatnot, that's what you need to look for. Are these people obeying God's commands? It's so very simple. And then one of the most important ones is the Sabbath. It's the fourth commandment. Let's look at that. Now I want you to notice here, Exodus 20, verse 1. Hear his commandments. I'm the Lord thy God, and you shall have no other gods, or make any engraven images, and thou shalt not take up. But look at everything that has to do with the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. It's different. It's special to God. You see, 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Jehovah thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor manservant, nor maidservant, not even your cattle, or a stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Jehovah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh day, wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. He gave it to us. Now, unlike the other gods that demand sacrifices of your children, that demand you to work and build all these great temples, what's the Lord say? What's the true God say? I want you to sit back and relax. I want you to sit back and relax and have conversations about me, and I want you to enjoy this day. Enjoying the Sabbath is a command too. Let me show you. Notice what this reads in Isaiah 58:13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy day of Jehovah, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, Then shall thou delight thyself in Jehovah, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Jehovah have spoken it. You see, that's by observing the Sabbath, we are honoring that we are receiving the mark of God. You see, the Sabbath is linked to a mark, and to rejoice in it. Okay, let me show you how it receives the mark. Or anyone that observes a Sabbath, it's a mark. Notice what it says here, brethren. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. It's a sign. You see, it's a sign. And by that sign, you will understand what it means to live a holy life, obeying all commandments from God. Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is his holy Sabbath, you see. So whenever you're looking at false teachers like this brother Joshua, all right? Now, of course, he has the beard, but he shaves his head. Where's his tassels? You know, I never saw him wearing any tassels. He is not bound by the commands of God like we are, you see. The thing is that you have to be discerning. When the angels come, and they're looking at people, right? First thing they're going to look at is, if he's a man, does he have a beard? Why is he shaving his face? God plainly told us in Leviticus 19:27 not to shave your face, not to shave the sides of your head. You know? And that's exactly what they all do, because they're better than the law of God, right? They know better than the law of God. You know, they have special, they're special. They have special insight, because God has told them that they don't have to obey the laws of God anymore. Kind of reminds you of the early church fathers like Ignatius and Eusebius, you know, moving the Sabbath to Sunday. Think about these things, brothers. Before you listen to the poison of these people, think about these things. All right. Much love. Shalom, shalom.